are less than when you are subjugated to him. And that's what we are presenting to. So they mock us. And not understanding that no matter what you present, as long as you present, look at the recent Anthony Joshua calamity. If I dare say that even if Mr. Dangote was in that same crash, they would extract him in that same way. Because there's no emergency helicopter that will come. So at that point, even if his big vehicle is, equipped with all the, first aid and all that, they would have extracted him to the next emergency, unless he carries a hospital with him. We don't yet have, we were discussing about OB vans now coming in. We don't yet have that technology that you're moving with the hospital, right? So they would have extracted. So the wealthy individual is only as wealthy as the collective space at the end of the day. That is why we are mocked.
That's what it boils down to.
That's why we are mocked.
That you're just being foolish.
So at the end of the day, all that wonderful investment in this movement is vulnerable to the change. Clean clothes. This nonsense that we celebrate, so these are the issues. I think if we change the
whoa.
we can make some headway.
Wow.
I don't want to say the next thing.
Guys, I mean, you've been listening to her pour her heart out. This is not textbook talk. This is not high sounding words. We're talking about reality. What education should be, what it should engender at the end of the day, and what it should produce. I don't know how we can get there, but that's why we have School Talk Cafe. Like it says, we speak honest conversations rather to inspire, and that's what we're trying to do here. So if you're out there and this spark is getting to you, please allow yourself to be ignited and get in touch. Put your comments in there, reach out to us and say, okay, I have this in mind. Can we do this together? Can you guys come in? Because we need to do something. If not, this country is, don't let me say it, but it is well. It is well. Okay, so I want to ask another set of questions now. Or just say
no.
Okay. So really, school attendance does not equal to learning.
It doesn't.
Just going to school is not really.
What's being taught is.
I mean, that's what she's just said in the last few minutes to say, look, we're going to school, we're coming out, we're doing this, we're doing that, but does it meet certain requirements? If it doesn't, then you just attended, you didn't learn nothing, no deep philosophy, no nothing. Well, we're seeing and hearing these things, and I hope it's touching certain people. How some of our policymakers are also listening and asking themselves honest questions. How do we make a change? How do we make things begin to happen? She's already said some of them. One key thing I will take away is within the community you find yourself in, start doing something, because that thing is like fire. When you put firewood, somewhere, and the thing is burning, after a while, the embers begin to light up all the other dry sticks around it, and before you know it, you have a raging fire going on. So and pick and just draw from your own fire and go and ignite. So I think I'm going to buy into that. We're already working on a few programs and projects, and I think for me this is like confirmation on what we said we would do in the year 2026. Beyond just sitting here and talking about certain things, we're actually going to be going out to make things happen, as we say it should. We need a lot of support, but I'm trusting that we will get that support, hopefully, even as we step out. So you worked extensively on gender responsive education. What barriers do Nigerian girls still face as we speak now that we rarely talk about?
So let me broaden it a bit so that we don't automatically, channel gender to girls. which is in the first place.
I know you are an advocate for the girl child, and that's why I'm bringing it to that. I'm an advocate for the boy child, and I belong to.
I happen to focus because of location on girls' issues, right? If I were in certain places where I see the threat to education be, maybe people pulling out for economic reasons, a lot of poverty forces boys to go into, organizer work. So the location and the analysis will define who the threatened gender or what gender is threatened.
I like that. That's a
and different
broad-based.
Yes. So at the primary level, you see more girls affected because when poverty comes, there's typically culture. There's a son preference. So the boy is given preference, and so he moves. So this is poverty at work now. Sometimes culture, stereotypes, religious, all of these things are also combined to limit girls' participation in schooling. Sometimes the more you get up the cycle at secondary school level, it's a function of different wars. Teenage pregnancy affects girls more, so they're falling out. Early marriages affect girls more, they're falling out. But economic factors are of deep concern also in the area of boys. So boys with potential for, science, for instance, there's no money. So mama and papa will tell you, leave this thing, go learn work. But this is somebody, and there's nothing wrong with if we have technical schools sending them that way. But oftentimes, they fall into the informal sector of work. So they don't even get the real rigorous. If we had TVET, technical and vocational education, the sector was vibrant, then that go and learn work would be serious, technical knowledge that allows them to grow a business model around what they've learned and support more formal companies with the, retaining the services of these people. So we'll be plugging them back into, there'll be pathways to plug them back into high earning, high grossing.
And then even career path.
And so there's a huge career path. But the way it is designed now, it's so informal, it's not standardized, you don't even know what skills
no standards whatsoever.
You can't really trust because, you can't count the ones.
A lot of them just fiddled with the thing and then...
The trade is not well, it's not well, the trade is not well governed, it's not well. So the product at the end of the day that comes out of those trades, they're not qualified many times, they're not accountable many times, so they do and undo. That's not a sector that can shape wealth, right? So these are the issues. If we had TVET, then we could route our boys out of secondary school into technical and vocational schools. We could have people learning tiling, proper standardized way learning. So real estate then would have, a ready pool of talent to draw from. Instead of having to bring people from Togo and whatnot to do tiling in so-called luxury homes in Lagos, right? And different, aspects of artisan work and, all these technical vocations would then have talent. And this talent will be rewarded so that they are not incentivized to go into cyber crime and cyber fraud. Now, artisans are crying out. People are not coming in to register for apprenticeships because now young boys are looking for money. Exactly. So they are going into Yahoo and all whatnot. So, some of these issues affect gender. But I focused on girls because of the space I was operating in and what the evidence, was presented. That I was dealing with girls at secondary school level. The more you go into deep places like Ossai or your town, you're seeing girls dropping out at an alarming rates for the teenage pregnancy. Early child marriages in your life. Even in there's a deep school in Bodija, a deep Bodija market there, like you saying. Or is it Bere? They don't want to marry, won't start it.
I spoke to a principal. Now, this was 8 years ago. I spoke to a principal of a school somewhere around Okebadon, Axis, that's interior.
Yes.
And she was telling me that by the time they are in SS2, they're already pregnant.
Straight.
A whole lot.
Straight.
Like epidemic level pregnancy. That the few 8 years ago, imagine what's going on now. By the time you see the few who made it to SS3, that she celebrates them like crazy because you survived. Despite everything that society and life threw at you, you still made it to your final year. She's like their mother. She's dancing, she's happy, because she knows how many came in and as at SS2, they've all gone. 8 years ago. So
and if it was that
I shudder to even think of what's going on now.
Today. So these are some of the issues. And when you see it at those kinds of numbers, that level of scale, you realize there's an enabling or permissive culture there. Now what's happening is that poverty is a strong factor.
Note that. Enabling or permissive culture.
Behind it, So poverty shapes cultures, right? So people in poverty start working early. and most times it's all these small scale survival-based businesses. But because the idea of a child sitting down, being fended for by mom and dad is not permissible there, you won't survive. So it becomes evolutionary.
All hands on deck.
Yes, so for
the woman brings one basket of oranges and she just distributes it to the 4 children on a tray.
Yes.
And then I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
And then the children are competing.
Yes.
How many did this? And then the child who doesn't sell as much is the one that gets derated. They there's abuse, there's all of that. So they're all out there and that's their life.
That's their life. So so those settings are defined by trades, petty trade, because it's survival, right? Not only is this competing with academic activities, but there's homework. Academics is a vocation by itself. Yeah. It's a vocation. So it requires its own dedicated time. It requires its own methods of growing in the vocation of academics, right? Those two competing interests can't vie. Secondly, on the streets and in those cultures, there's people saying, I want this person, I want this person. So suddenly deals are being struck for, if it's not that the girl fell into the hands of some unscrupulous young man and got pregnant, there will be some older baba that will come and entice the mom and dad with some, deal. And
say, let me just take her off you.
So if it's not more formally struck by the elders in the family, it will be just due to exposure on the streets. At the end of the day, the outcome is the same, a pregnancy that takes her out. And we don't have second chance programs, that help girls with aptitude for schooling to come back into the classroom. This is heavy investments in places that do it. When you think about Jamaica has a strong second chance program. I think Rwanda or Kenya, one of these stuff is running something similar. Because not just in fact, recently some countries even have policies that don't allow a girl who was once pregnant to come back to the classroom. In this part of the world, it's not enough to have policies that allow her come back. Who watches her child when she's back, right?
So what's this?
Is there a voucher? What's money? Because there's an opportunity cost for her sitting in that class. She can't trade, she can't make money. So who's going to pay for that?
The bills.
So some of these things are not well thought out. So these are the issues. So we lose that vital contributor to the economic asset. I like to think of it more from a moral lens than an economic rational argument. But at the end of the day, you've lost that contributor to your economy, to either a menial, low skill, just something less than her actual potential.
And she just automatically becomes an underperformer.
And you are affected because, if she had a big scale shop, if you groomed her well, she could understand commerce. She could grow like and build this thing at scale, and you can tax her.
And then the child,
so her contribution then, helps your hospitals, we don't think about this thing fully. And then we don't see the value. So there's many factors behind this thing. There's a role that we've also assigned to the girls and the women that doesn't fully match all the potential they bring to the table.
Yeah.
This is where the gender conversation comes in. Because you have to confront some of these cultural, stereotypes that are also at work. They're like invisible strongholds, but they're at work. Mm-hmm. So by the definition of that role, she shouldn't do much. She shouldn't do more than that. So even if she comes with so much more potential, this is where we
douse it down to.
So I celebrate a lot of those fathers of old who sent their daughters to become, medical doctors, engineers. Those were the real MVPs.
Yes.
Because now it's popular to do it. Then it wasn't popular. They will be mocked by their counterparts. When I think of the first Chief Justice of Nigeria, female Chief Justice of Nigeria, Aloma Mukhtar, whose father was a trader. From Kano. I
agree with you. That man,
who said they her from Kano and all the slots, she was the only girl sitting down there. You know what it takes for a man to have such person? And he does not know what the end outcome is. You shall have the bringing me result is I will keep paying. Because A means potential. A is excellent.
This is good.
If I took you to the vocational school and you came back and your trainer said, this is my best, I will put more money for grade 2, advanced level. So that is the same thing, right? But some people said, no, she will marry, she will be this. But I'm saying, keep going. That's what we just need some fathers to do. Where do you see the potential? Just keep going, keep supporting that potential towards wherever it takes her. Don't say, but this is where you must end up. But the potential is saying different.
Otherwise.
So these are the kinds of things. When you think about the first female vice chancellor of Uniben, Grace Alele Williams, it's one man somewhere that saw, This one knows maths, knows numbers. In a world where women don't know number, which of the number? Maybe nursing. That time, what was was nursing and teaching. Nursing and teaching. Well, sent her to Queen's College, sent her to all these places, expensive. At least sometimes some of these people are not by those standards the richest people. Yeah. So this is what gender we need to have a conversation around. When you think of your children and what you're seeing potential, areas where you're seeing potential, can we match it with investment and support? Can we silence the norms and the rules that society is preaching? And family is important. So yes, we emphasize that you have responsibilities to your family. And one of the reasons why very few women understood cars or mechanics or machines was because typically growing up, even when I was growing up, my brothers were the ones washing the car. You understand? And maybe I was doing
and your dad would probably show them the engine parts and all of that.
Or they would sit on the steering. This was a professor, right? But this was his own limitation. What helped was because my mother was in the media, so certain things, so at least I was getting exposure and coming in contact with certain people. But there were still certain limitations. Yeah. But you build from chaos. But I saw a man who invested in all of us equally to go to school. It's just that some of those biases creep into how. So I was the last in my house to learn how to drive, right? But at the end of the day, it's expected of me. The good thing was it's expected of me to know how to drive, but I'm not going to change the tire. And these are life skills. My brothers know how to change tires, right? So these are things. Let's stop capping because nobody comes from the womb having learned those things. You're socialized into it. If you're good with machines and mechanics and technical, you are socialized that way. Maybe you're living with somebody who doesn't happen to always grab it, so you learned it. If all girls grew up in settings where everybody's tricky machine, you trust me. Once you sit there and like, those girls tricky machine, that's what, because we normalize what we see. Yes. So all these things you've seen have become the stereotype because that's what she was just saying. Woman, cook. There's nothing wrong with cooking. We all need to eat. I like food, right? But if all of you come and then this boy's own food is sweeter, don't tell him he can't study home economics or food and nutrition because he's a ball. He will make big money in a hotel somewhere later.
As a chef.
Thank you. Then this girl now, you tell her, no, don't go for that though. It will break your hymen. It will disvirgin you. You know, you must take, you understand. Sports. And don't do that. Meanwhile, there's a Serena Williams somewhere there. Or there's, you understand? So look at this girl we're celebrating as is that. Yeah. You know, so we're coming, because you can't tell me out of 200 million people. We wasted a lot of geniuses. I agree. We've wasted. There's so many like global talents that we switched off the stars. It's like you went somewhere to an inner sanctuary and we're switching off. So this is what culture sometimes does. So these are kinds of enlightened conversations I like to share in communities. I'm not altering your way of life. I'm not confronting families. I believe in families. I believe that women want to succeed in the company of people they love. Yes. Not as islands. So I'm not driving a feminist message. No. I'm driving a message of potential that all of us will benefit from. Yeah. Stop capping it in the name of I'm above her. And then your boys are not, they're underperforming. Because anybody trained to see himself as a leader will underperform without earning it. You underperform. Yes. You can't even be resilient and you make poor decisions. Yes. So just because of you understand your maleness, automatically you're a leader. No. Leadership is the values, is that ability to envision, to see, to influence. It's a learned thing, right? If you live naturally around leaders, you manifest it.
Yes, it's a trait that you just pick.
But it's not automatic. It's a learned behavior also. So if you think about secondary school and all the houses that were always winning, there's some places you go to, they're always winning. It becomes self-perpetuating, it becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. So the male, because he's told he's going to
so red house is red house people.
I don't know what is about red.
Up red.
And every new cohort of students brought it to boarding school just wanted because the idea, everything is constructed from an
You even had students crying to be in that particular house.
Had told them, this house that wins. So
they now come in, and the minute they are there, they now believe they are winners.
Yes.
Meanwhile, it was one person, 1 year, one cohort that first defined a winning streak, and suddenly it becomes self-perpetuating. That when I enter there, I automatically believe I'm a winner, and then I perceive myself.
And just walk in that light.
So we have that. So for some boys rise to become that, but many fail. Many fail. So and then we put a lot of pressure on the boys. Oh, this provider. So, in that pressure, they're even choosing illicit corners. And then, yes. And then the minute there's some confrontation, they can't react like, critical thinking beings. They react instinctively. The animal instinct for, it's like I'm being threatened. My identity is being threatened.
Fight or flight.
Violence. You see violence. So, we can't have people that are elevated at the level of discourse. You're having people just trying to preserve their identity as top of the pyramid by any means necessary. So a woman that engages you in a debate or say, no, it doesn't make any sense. We're not even helping anybody that way, right? So we need to reimagine this conversation, reimagine gender and leadership. I have no problem with a man leading on the basis of merit. You have to be the one with the highest ideas that when tested in the ideas marketplace is genuinely the most lofty of ideas, and you back it with courage and resolve and hard work. Then you've earned your place as a leader. Not just that you sit down with one person is going out, going to the construction site, carrying this thing on her head, then you bring money and say, how much money did you earn today? Like, bring it. Is that leadership? And you find that more, again,